Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. For this tutorial, we're gonna do a gorgeous purple and lavender and lilac really. Buttercream marbled geode cake. This was for a sweet 16 that we did at the bakery last week, and I thought she was just too pretty not to share. And here I am making my transfer. That's how I like to do most of my marbled buttercream, is I like to use an acetate sheet and buttercream. I'm going to use this acetate sheet to transfer the marble to the cake. What I'm doing here though is I am using my two colors of purple, and I'm just dipping my toothpick in there, and I'm making some stronger veins. Those are going to mix with the buttercream. And what I do is I have my three colors, my white, my purple, and my lilac. And I am just kind of lightly marbling them together and placing them kind of randomly on the acetate sheet. Keeping in mind that I need to remember where I'm wanting my veining to go and kind of apply it according to where those first lines with the toothpick are applied. And then just go ahead and smooth the back. This is the back, not the front, and set it aside. Now I already have my cake layered up and crumb coated. This is a red velvet with a cream cheese filling and American buttercream on the outside. Now, something I did, this cake needed to be a little taller. We were originally going to do 4 layers of 8-inch, but it got lost in translation, and when it was baked with 3 9-inch cakes. So I layered each layer in half. I cut each layer in half, and I did extra layers of cream cheese to get a little extra height. And make sure that you are damming your buttercream in between each layer before you put your cream cheese, because cream cheese tends to be a little bit softer. And then once I did my final layer, right away I picked up my transfer and I attached it to the cake. You could put it in your refrigerator for 20 minutes or your freezer for 10 minutes before you apply the wrap if you need it to be a little bit more firm. I'm just used to doing this, so I just went ahead and put it on there right away. And then I put it in the freezer for 10 minutes before I remove the acetate sheet. It's that fast. Only 10 minutes. And so I gently remove the acetate. I know there's some little holes, and that's okay. I don't mind that. That's just a little bit more organic of a touch there. And then I use my straight blade, it's actually a palette knife, to remove the rim around the top. I didn't mind if it was a little uneven because it's a more organic type of design, so that was fine. I wasn't too worried about that. And now I'm just cutting out my geode placement where I want the geode, the inside of the geode to come through. This one is a more subtle one, so I am just going at an angle from the top, diagonal down, and kind of making the line a little bit irregular. But I'm going in at an angle with the knife, at about a 45-degree angle on each side. You can see it right there. To make sure that your fissure, we'll call it a fissure, is not too deep into the cake, but deep enough so that you notice it. Since I'm not going very wide with it, I went a little deeper to get a few more of those rock candies in there. Now we're going to fill that section with a little buttercream. This took 2 coats of buttercream because I didn't want to see the red through it. Red is a hard color to kind of camouflage with your geodes. So I just did 1 coat, put it in the refrigerator, let it set up for about 20 minutes, and I went in with a second coat. And I'm using a small offset spatula. It's not even a spatula. It's a palette knife, because we're working with a smaller area. It's a little easier to stay in control of what you're doing. And don't let this layer, don't put this in the refrigerator at this point. You want this to be soft so that your rock candy will stick to the buttercream. And I'm just placing them one by one. I find it's a little messy if you try to kind of jam-pack it with handfuls of the rock candy. And I like to I'm a little bit of a control freak. I like to kind of control where those are going. Plus, I found that if you put too many in there, when you are applying your color, a lot of them will fall out. And then you have to go back in and replace them again. So if you just do less, do like one layer, you don't have to worry about that. And that's easier to do with you just placing them one by one. And I placed these or attached them all the way up to the edge and then sticking up just a little bit because I wanted to see that last row of the rock candy. I wanted to be able to see that. A little bit more texture on the outside. You can't see it, but well, that doesn't matter what I was doing because you couldn't see it anyway. But anyway, I meant to edit that out. Sorry, ignore that part. But this is just a piece of paper towel. And I'm just dipping it in my buttercream. And then just kind of stamping it on there or stippling it on there. They wanted extra texture on this cake. This was for an actual order. I think I mentioned that at the beginning. So, we got to curtail it to what the customer wants. And they wanted a little bit more texture, which obviously I'm not afraid of. I like to do that. I kind of like seeing that on the paperwork that they wanted extra texture because I'm all about that. So this is an easy way to do that. And I used all the two lightest colors, the white and the lavender or the lilac, to add a little bit more texture there. And now I'm just using a mixture of Everclear and luster dust, gold luster dust. I made a paint out of it. You just add enough Everclear so that it is paintable. And I'm just doing the upper edge around the geode section. And then I added a little bit more with another brush, a fluffier brush that I kind of just, I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Stippling is the word I'm finding in my head, but that's not the word I'm wanting to use. I added it. You'll see. You'll see. Just watch how I did it. Here's how I'm doing it. I guess it wasn't a big fluffy brush, but it was a smaller brush that's kind of frayed out at the edges. And I just kind of tapping it. That's the word I'm looking for. Kind of tapped it on there just to make it look a little bit more organic and to continue that gold around it a little bit. Now this is just a mixture of my food coloring and some more of the Everclear. I'm just making it so that I can paint it on to the rock candy. Now you can buy already colored rock candy, but I find that you can make it a little bit more custom if you add it yourself. Now make sure that you're not adding so much of this that it drips out, because sometimes, gravity liquid, it'll want to kind of drip down to the very bottom and then you have to clean it up as it comes out. So just try not to oversaturate. Now to add some shine, since the pre-bought or pre-made rock candy kind of has a little bit of not a real clear look to it, if you add just a little bit of vegetable oil to it with a brush like I just did, that brings the shine out in it. And then I'm just attaching the decorations. All of the decorations were these fans that were already, I didn't have to make them. And then the silk flowers. My boss just purchased them and said, put them on. So that's what I did. And I'm attaching them all with some buttercream. We stuck with the same colors, the different shades of purple and a little bit of white. And the flowers she chose were more of an organic, kind of natural type of flowers. Instead of going with all roses or something like that, she went with more stems and things like that. Now just take your time in arranging your flowers. Just kind of go with what naturally seems right to you. I find that when I try to arrange it in my head ahead of time, it never works out that way. So start with your bigger pieces and then fill in with your smaller around them. That's kind of the rule of thumb I go by. And then we had this sweet little Sweet 16 gold topper to add to the top. And there it is all done. I know we've done a few of these geode cakes, but they never get old. Of course, that's just my opinion, but if you want to change it up, you can do different colors, you can do different flowers. It's totally up to you. So I hope you learned some, and I hope you enjoyed it. My video, and if you'd like to watch some other videos, go ahead and click on the link to one of these other videos shown here. And if you would like to check out my other social media, I am on Facebook and Instagram under the same name, Sophisticakes by Mary. And please take the time to share, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you know when I upload another video. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you on the next tutorial.